Hello, this is Elena. Today we're going to do a children's manicure with polish. And this is my daughter. She gave her consent to be filmed, and today we're going to do her nails. So let's take a look at the original. Here we have average, very ordinary nails that have pretty much never seen a manicure. Okay, never is an exaggeration. I do care for her nails occasionally. By the way, the P04 pusher, in case anyone needs a pusher that looks like an orange stick with a hoof-shaped tip, we'll be doing a combined manicure, but of course not a deep one. It will be very similar to an adult manicure, except the only difference is that I'll be doing it, well, more gently. We just pushed the cuticle back to a straight line, so there's no need to go too deep. As always, I'm using my favorite talc from Domex. I apply it to dry out the skin. Next, a bit with a red band. I'm using the Dr. Alex machine, which I set to a low speed, about 8 to 10,000 RPM. I set it to a low speed so I don't remove too much, because my goal here is just to remove the pterygium and shape the cuticle into a straight line. Mostly we'll work a little bit around the side walls, just a tiny bit. And because I'm using a low speed, I can press a little with the bit and not worry about removing too much, because I want my daughter's nails to keep growing straight and neat. After going over with the bit with a blunt tip, I move on to using the nippers. I took my favorite nippers. I think they're 1212. I'll show the picture here, Nippon nippers as well. As always, nothing changes here, everything is stable, and the nippers are perfect when you're doing the deep manicure technique. That's exactly what we're doing today. Next, I took a buffer and lightly buffed the surface, not even to mattify, but more to even it out. I shaped the free edge with a file, and now we're ready. And I'll start with the polish. I took the diamond strengthener from Domex. This is a wonderful polish that's perfect for use under nail wraps, because that's exactly what we plan to do today, work with nail wraps. Not long ago, a brand sent me some nail wraps to review. They sent me all sorts of colorful ones, and my daughter immediately picked out this Pokemon one. So I kept them, and we waited until our schedules matched up, and then we sat down to do our nails. Of course, I told her that she wouldn't have any gel on her nails, and she didn't really insist, but we decided that we would still cover them with a gel top coat. I'll show you how we're going to do it now. I used regular nail polish as a base to prevent the nails from touching the film's adhesive layer. Next, I take the wraps themselves and will apply them as usual. Well, how should I put it as usual? Let me show you how this application actually happens. For me, the most difficult finger is on the hand. It's specifically the thumb, because you always have to cut around it. Right now, I'm showing how it happens, not when you're editing a video nicely, but how it actually happens in real life. When you've peeled it off and stuck it back on 500 million times, then you sit there trying to smooth it out with an orange stick, and you realize that no matter how you cut it, it still doesn't fit. So now I'm going to gently lift it with the orange stick and help myself with the eyelash tweezers. By the way, here's a great life hack. Use lash extension tweezers. They're nice and sharp. Next, I use scissors because now I need to carefully trim the film, remove the excess, but not take the film off completely. Because I can't use another one since Pikachu was only on this film and we needed him specifically on this finger. Because my daughter has her own vision of a manicure, and she came up with exactly how it should be, and of course I can't deviate from it at all. Of course, our special entertainment was trimming the nail wraps when she would say, "I want this exact part of the animal to be on my nails." But her fingers are small, the films are big, and in the end only Pikachu's face remained. Honestly, it doesn't even look like him anymore, maybe like a banana or someone else. Well, anyway, with some struggle, we managed to get the film onto the thumb, and then I started smoothing it over the free edge. What am I doing at this moment? Or rather, what's important is what I'm not doing. I'm not stretching the film. I'm spreading it out, smoothing it, warming it up with my finger if needed, but I'm not pulling it. Because if you stretch it, it will shrink back to where you pulled it from, basically. So we just spread it out and carefully file off the excess. I'll admit I grabbed the wrong file. It was too rough, but it was too late to get another. Here's how I remove the bubble. I make a small slit with scissors and smooth it with a stick. Next, we're planning to apply a gel polish. First, I take a flexible base, not a hard one, something more liquid, and cover the film with it. Of course, I cure all of this, and after that I move on to the top coat. Right now, I'm already applying the top coat here. And I apply all of this without leveling, without any hassle, just a thin layer so that it lasts longer. Because we did these nails for my daughter for vacation, she went to the sea with them and I think wore them for about 3 weeks. And when she came back, she even brought all of them back to me. I laughed for a long time because she collected all the ones that fell off, put them in her purse, and then brought them all to me. Because I told her very clearly, bring all the wraps back to me so we could show our audience that the wraps hold up well. Well, anyway, she really did bring them to me. True, they were in her purse pocket, not on her nails, but the child did what she could. Meanwhile, we had already applied the film to the thumb, and now we have the little fingers left. By the way, things are much easier with them. Here, we easily chose the right sizes. And as you can see, the application was done without a lot of steps. We just placed the film and simply smoothed it out. The nails aren't very arched, so they're very convenient specifically for applying films. As I mentioned, the thumb is the most difficult for me. The other fingers can easily be done on your own, with your eyes closed. So here we were already smoothing it out calmly without rushing. I leave more of these fingers for later, just so you can see that the curves of the films fit well in the cuticle area. I really liked it. I think a lot of these wraps are cut this way. By the way, write in the comments which films you use. What have you tried? Which ones did you like? Which ones didn't you like? Just for general knowledge. Maybe it will be useful for someone. I'll be happy to read all of that too, by the way. So, the only problem with these films was, again, that on one side they have Pikachu, and on the other side there's this little ball. Besides Pikachu, I don't remember any other Pokemon. Well, basically our fingers were small, our nails were small. For example, we would put this little ball on our pinky, the one that I think the Pokemon would jump out of. And in the end, there was almost nothing left of it. Of course, it's upsetting and disappointing. I know it bothers a lot of people. And recently I also showed a pedicure with wraps from Revunova. And there were pink panthers there. And many people wrote, oh, couldn't they have made it fit there? But the thing is, they really couldn't. Because everyone has different fingers. The width, the length, everything is very different. And you just can't make it fit everyone. So you end up sitting there trimming it. And that's why it's not always the case that you'll have exactly the same design on your nail as you had on the wrap sheet, you know, on that little sheet. Well, that's just one of the drawbacks, but it's a good option for long-lasting coverage. This is how they look now. Of course, we didn't keep the length. We removed all of that. Yes, I stick pieces of film like this onto my gloves for some reason. Then I throw them away with the glove. And that's a life hack, by the way, especially when working with kids. It's convenient for me. I use a small lamp to flash cure them. For those whose eye started twitching because the side is missing, yes, the side is missing, but that's the size of the film I had, and with this design it needed to be exactly like that. Actually, I'll let you in on a secret. Kids honestly don't care at all. Whether you see something along the curve doesn't matter to them. The main thing is the picture looks cool. That's why my daughter was so happy. She wore it with pleasure. She went through all the wraps. Well, not on her nails though, but still, everyone liked it. It turned out great, an excellent result. I think that for a gentle manicure, using nail wraps on a child, this is actually an excellent method. It's really just wonderful. Here, we used a liquid flexible base for the coating. On top, we applied a flexible no-wipe top coat as well. The main thing is that the materials shouldn't be hard. Otherwise, they'll crack in a web pattern and crumble since the material is brittle and hard. Thin layers will crumble, so you need flexible ones. The ones for gel polishes, everything will be fine. On the middle and index fingers where the blue is, it's unclear who's left. It seemed like there was some animal there too. And the second hand looks like this. On the thumb, only half of the creature is left too. But honestly, these are just little things in life. The child was absolutely happy. Our manicure turned out great. Share in the comments what kind of manicures you do for your kids. Attach photos if you can. I would be very interested to see them. And here's the final result, how the nails look, as I like to say, on the actual person. She was a little shy, but in the end she agreed to show them. I said, let's show them. Continuation. For our viewers, this is how it looks from the side. I think it turned out great. So I'm looking forward to your feedback. This was Lavrentia Valenovna. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.